Fry until burn. A horror. Novella Diner stood at the far edge of the Highway 17, where the asphalt broke into cracked gravel and weeds strangled the road. A crooked neon sign blinked in the night. The Last Pan. Open 24 hours. Except no one in town ever saw customers inside. The windows were always steamed over, glowing faintly with the orange light of frying oil. Some nights you could hear it even from the parking lot. The constant sizzle, like something trapped in grease, screaming. Mr. Harlan ran the diner alone. His hair was graying, his skin ashen, his hands scarred from decades of burns. He was never seen outside the diner, never seen shopping, never seen resting. He was always at the stove, and always repeating his rule. Fry until burn. That's when the flavor comes out. On a stormy October night, 5 travelers lost on the highway spotted the neon glow. Their car was almost out of gas, their stomachs empty. Darren, the driver, was a brash young man in his 20s. Eliza, his girlfriend, cautious and anxious. Tom, their friend, always joking to hide his fear. Ruth, Darren's sister, quiet and observant. Mr. Gray, a stranger they picked up hitchhiking an hour earlier. They were soaked from the rain when they stepped inside. The air hit them like a wall, thick, greasy, choking with the smell of burned oil. The diner was empty except for the cook behind the counter. He lifted his head, his eyes dull and black like used frying oil, and said in a voice dry as smoke, "Sit down, I'll feed you." The menu was a single page. Pan fry special, no description, no price. They exchanged uneasy glances, but hunger won. Darren ordered for everyone. Mr. Harlan's lips twitched into what might have been a smile, and he pulled a blackened skillet onto the burner. The sound came first, ishish, 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 ishish. Loud, violent, endless. Then the smell, something sweet, sour, metallic. The travelers gagged, but the cook muttered as if to himself, "Fry until burn. That's when the flavor comes out." When he brought the plates, the food was nearly unrecognizable. Meat, maybe, charred black, glistening with oil. Tom laughed nervously. Guess he wasn't kidding about the burn. They tasted it anyway. The flavor was strange. Horrible at first, bitter as ash, but then something deeper, something that made their tongues tingle and their stomachs clench with craving. Eliza dropped her fork. I can't eat this." But the others were already taking second bites, their eyes glassy. It began subtly. Darren's hands trembled. Tom's face twitched. Ruth began humming under her breath, a tune she didn't know. Mr. Gray, the hitchhiker, was silent, chewing slowly, his eyes fixed on the cook. Eliza whispered, "Something's wrong." The air thickened. The lights flickered. In the kitchen, the sizzling never stopped, though the pan on the stove was empty. Mr. Harlan leaned over the counter, his voice low, almost tender. "You've tasted it. Now it's inside you. The burn always spreads." One by one, they began to unravel. Tom started laughing uncontrollably, his teeth chattering between cackles. His laughter turned into screams. He clawed at his tongue, shouting that it was still sizzling inside his mouth. Ruth stared into her plate, whispering, "It's moving. It's still moving." Darren clutched his chest, gasping for air, the smell of smoke rising from his clothes. Eliza tried to drag him up, shouting to Mr. Harlan for help, but the cook just stirred another empty pan, whispering, "Fry until burn. Fry until burn." Only Mr. Gray sat calmly, watching, as though he had seen this before. Eliza panicked. She dragged Ruth toward the back, hoping to find another exit. They burst through the swinging kitchen doors and froze. The kitchen wasn't normal. It stretched far too wide, walls lost in shadows. Dozens of skillets sizzled on burners, but there were no stoves, no gas lines, no fire, just endless pans, sizzling on their own, and in each pan was something writhing. Fingers, eyes, tongues, bits of people, frying endlessly but never fully burning away. Some of the faces in the pans were still alive, mouths opening in silent screams, oil bubbling around them. Eliza choked back a sob. Ruth whispered, "That's them. That's where the food came from." A voice behind them croaked, "Fry until burn." Mr. Harlan stood in the doorway, blocking the exit. His eyes burned now, truly burned, like hot coals. Back in the diner, Darren collapsed, smoke rising from his mouth. Tom had gone silent, his body twitching. Eliza tried to run, dragging Ruth, but Mr. Harlan was already upon them. He grabbed Eliza's wrist. His skin was hot, blistering, like the handle of a cast-iron pan. "You came hungry," he said. "You'll stay sizzling. That's the way of the pan." He shoved her toward the stove. The burners roared to life. Ruth screamed, clawing at his arm, but Mr. Gray stepped forward at last, calm as ever. "Enough," he said. Harlan froze. For the first time, fear flickered in his burned eyes. Mr. Gray smiled faintly. "You've served well, but the kitchen needs new cooks." Eliza's vision blurred. She saw Mr. Gray and Mr. Harlan staring at one another, one cook handing the diner to the next. Harlan's face cracked into a smile. "Then fry them, traveler. Fry them all." The sizzling grew deafening. The pans screamed. The walls shook with smoke and fire. Eliza tried to pull Ruth toward the door, but it was gone. Just a wall of oil, bubbling, burning. The last thing she heard was Gray's calm voice repeating the words like a prayer. "Fry until burn. Fry until burn." And then the diner swallowed them whole. The storm cleared by morning. The highway was empty again. The last pan stood quietly at the roadside, neon sign buzzing. A new man stood behind the counter now, his hair dark, his smile calm. The hitchhiker, Mr. Gray, was gone. But the new cook had the same black eyes, and the same rule. Fry until burn. The sizzling began again.